guys, I'm super excited for two reasons. One reason, it's Jack's birthday. Happy birthday, Jack. And that means we're going to do something really special. That leads me on to reason number two. The special thing is we're going to travel in China for the first time since the COVID-19 outbreak happened in Wuhan. At the beginning of May, it was announced that there was going to be no more 14-day quarantine if you were coming to Beijing, or if you were going to any city in China for that matter. So technically, that means we can travel around China. Sounds simple, right? Well, I'm sure there's going to be some obstacles, and I'm sure it's not going to go quite as smoothly as that. So we've decided to film it to show you exactly what it's going to be like. So tomorrow morning, we're going to get up really early, which is why I'm doing this intro now, and then we're going to head to Shanghai by bullet train. So I've just got out of the shower, I still need to pack, and then let's go to Shanghai. Okay, so here we are at Beijing South Railway Station. We've just come through security, and to be honest, it was no different to normal. They check your passports, you put your bags through the scanners, and they're checking you as you go through. They checked my aerosol, but that's nothing new. There was no visible temperature checks, but I'm sure that that's happening as well. But yeah, the only thing that was different was everybody was wearing masks. So we decided to come here extra early so that we had plenty of time just in case there was anything that we needed to fill in or there was a big queue or anything like that. As it turns out, there was actually no queue to get in and we got in super fast. Once we got inside, however, it is a lot busier than I thought it was going to be, but maybe that's a good sign. No better way to start the day than with a traditional Chinese breakfast. Honestly, looking around, this place doesn't feel any different to normal. The shops are open, it's busy, no one's social distancing. The only real difference is that every single person is wearing a mask. I don't think you'd be allowed in the station if you weren't wearing a mask. So behind me is the ticket office here in the Beijing South Railway Station. If you're traveling in China, then this is where you get your tickets from. I, however, like to be a little bit cautious and pre-pay for my tickets online. I use a website called trip.com, but they do add a booking fee, so it's a little bit more expensive, but I would rather be safe than sorry. Usually they give you a code and then you go to the desk and get your paper ticket. But this time, however, they've issued me an e-ticket, and so apparently I could just use my passport and I don't need a physical ticket. I'm not sure if that's going to work well or not, but I'm sure we'll find out later. So I wasn't sure if the e-ticket was going to work, but she was just looking for my entry stamp in the passport. She put it in the machine and it worked absolutely fine. So we're about to board the bullet train to Shanghai. I love getting the train here in China. It's so much more relaxing than getting a flight here. So I'm really excited because I haven't taken one in ages. It feels like forever since I took the train. Obviously, we haven't been able to travel for ages either, so it kind of is forever. So let's get on and go to Shanghai. Oh, I wish I was sat in one of these seats. Oh, that's weird. Somebody's in our seat. Can you get the... Oh, carriage 11. I got the muddled up. So we just boarded the train. I actually got the seats muddled up, but we're now in our official seat. And so now it's time to take a breather and relax for the next 4.5 hours. One thing that I have noticed is that there are still quite a few spare seats around. Now, this train is going from Beijing to Shanghai on a Friday morning, and usually this would probably be sold out, so it'd be absolutely packed. But as you can see from the shots, there's still quite a lot of spare seats, so it's not completely full. Welcome to Shanghai! We made it to Shanghai on the train, and to be honest, it was exactly the same as every other time that we've taken a train in China. The only difference was everybody kept their mask on, and the train steward came around and took everyone's temperature. Okay, now we're off the train. We still have to check into our hotel, so I'm not sure if that's going to go quite as smoothly. Let's go and find out. So as we were leaving the platform, there was an area and there was some guys in some hazmat suits and they were taking your temperature, but it was super easy. It wasn't one by one. They just had a machine and we got through absolutely no problem. So we're now in Shanghai. Absolutely beautiful in Beijing this morning. It was like 28 degrees, the sun was shining, and we've got to Shanghai and it's pinning it down. I guess it wouldn't be a Jack and Nico holiday if it didn't rain. So we made it to the hotel. Check-in was kind of easy, but not. The woman at the front desk, she wanted us to have, I guess, the Shanghai app, which obviously we don't have this health app. We have a Beijing health app. So we were trying to download it, and then Jack's WeChat wouldn't work, so he had to update it. It was all in Chinese, so I didn't know how to fill it in, and she kind of just gave up and let us just use the Beijing app. So that was good. We might need it somewhere else in Shanghai, so I guess we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Okay, so we are back from Shanghai, and I'm really sorry to disappoint you guys, but we actually took the decision to not film in Shanghai. And the reason was, like I said, it was Jack's birthday, it's our first time traveling, and we just wanted a break. So we made this film to show you what it's like traveling, but when it came to things to do in Shanghai, we decided not to film. I'm sure we're going to be going back to Shanghai at some point, so don't worry, there will be some Shanghai content coming eventually on our travel channel at some point. So let's talk about what happened when we were in Shanghai. So Shanghai felt a little bit different to Beijing. It felt a little bit more relaxed. A lot of people weren't actually wearing masks that much. There was still a fair amount of people wearing masks, especially on the subway and in closed spaces, everybody was wearing a mask. But when we were out and about, there was a lot of people that weren't, whereas here in Beijing, masks, everybody still seems to be wearing them. There didn't seem to be temperature checks everywhere, which there still is here in Beijing. A lot of places you have to show your health kit here in Beijing, and you didn't in Shanghai, pretty much, actually nowhere. There was only one place that we had to show it, and that was called Found 138, I think. And there was an event going on, so I'm not sure if it was because of the event or you always do there because there's a lot of places it's more enclosed. Obviously we don't have the Shanghai app, which is what I explained earlier, so we tried to figure it out and it was a bit of a pain, but eventually we just kind of showed the guard a Beijing app and explained, and he let us in and it was fine. So that was the only incident that we had where we had to show a health kit app. It's a bit different here in Beijing. The train back was absolutely fine. It was exactly the same. Like I mentioned earlier, everybody has to wear masks. there was a temperature check. Actually, it was a lot busier than the train to Shanghai, I think because it was a Sunday evening, so people were traveling and they were coming back to Beijing. When we got back to Beijing, there was nothing. I assumed we'd have to fill in some details, but actually we didn't. It was fine, we just went home. But the next day we did go to our community office and we told them where we'd been. So we showed them our tickets, we explained we'd been to Shanghai, they wrote it all down, they put it in their system, and so that we shouldn't have any problems in the future. Now, with that in mind, technically, that means our health app should be fine. And if we were Chinese, it would be fine. But as we are foreign and we use the English version, there's a glitch at the moment. And we aren't the only ones that have experienced this. So basically, it still says that we need 14 days quarantine, which obviously we don't, because you don't need to quarantine in China at the moment. So it seems to be a glitch on the app. But when we do scan a different app, it shows that we're green and that we're fine. So there might be some problems when you come back to Beijing. I've had to show my Beijing health kit 2 places, but I've just showed the other one instead, and it seems that that's worked fine. I think people are quite aware that this is a situation because my Chinese friends, they don't have this problem because their app works fine. So fingers crossed, the foreign version can get fixed soon, or at least people will keep accepting that. Okay, so that was the first time that we traveled here in China. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Obviously, things are changing all the time. There's still lots of cases worldwide. So, in a week or two, things could be completely different. I'm hoping that this is the start of something and, in the summer, we can go to more places and we can go further in China and eventually the borders will open, but who knows what's going to happen. So with that in mind, make sure that you're subscribed to my channel so that you can stay up to date with all of the content that we release. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up and leave me a comment below to let me know what you'd like to see next on the channel. I'll see you next time.